to the Migrant Resource Centre, Northwest Region Incorporated Diversity and Disability YouTube channel. Your Life, Your Voice program, where self-advocates and professionals in the disability sector are interviewed.
The Diversity and Disability Project would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we work and live and recognise their continued connection to land, water and community. We pay respects to elders past, present and emerging.
Nothing about us without us. We pay respects to all self-advocates who have worked hard over the years and still working tirelessly for their rights, supporting others with disabilities and human rights for all.
This channel is for people with disabilities who aspire to seek self-advocacy role models to inspire change in their everyday lives. Nothing about us without us. Choice and control are central themes. Every interview is as unique as you and I.
And it has a fundamental universal human rights ethos of respect for persons with disabilities, having their views heard and acknowledged. After all, it's all in the name. Your life, your voice.
Be the voice of change in your life.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Your Life, Your Voice. My name is Julie Skiveris and I'd like to welcome my co-host, Gule Altombas. Welcome, Gule, to our program.
Thank you and hello to all of our viewers, and I'd like to welcome Matt as well. Hi, Matt.
G'day, how you going?
Good, thanks.
So Matt is a self-advocate from a self-advocacy group called New Horizons. And so we'll be chatting to Matthew today on his journey in life and on his self-advocacy journey. So how about we kick off with some questions?
Sure.
So would you like to tell us a little bit about your background, Matt?
Background. Okay, I'll start. My name's Matthew Dempsey. Hang on. I am 37 years old, born in Australia, born in Melbourne, and I'm currently employed with a supported employment with a nursery called Year Review Nursery.
So in terms of self-advocacy, would you like to tell us a little bit about your self-advocacy journey?
Self-advocacy. Well, how I started the journey of self-advocacy, a friend of mine approached me and said, hey, there's a group in Ringwood called New Horizons. And, my friend had said, would you like to, come and have a look and, have a trial, see if you like it. I've been with New Horizons, I think about 4 to 5 years now.
So what sort of skills do you think that you gained from New Horizons?
Well, mentoring and audio visual.
So I gather you gained a lot of confidence also from your involvement.
Yes. Yes, I have.
Yeah. So Gule, would you like to say something on?
I'll come in when I think it's appropriate. So you continue with your line of thinking. But what I was going to say is tell us a little bit more about your mentoring and what is involved to mentor people.
Well, mentoring is to help the other self-advocates that's in the group feel welcome, answer any questions they have, any any problems, and any problems like difficulty speaking up about an issue, or something in general.
Give us an example of it.
Like, for example, I have helped another client that's known to you guys, Leonie Store. I've helped her. I've helped mentor her to make it for her to feel welcome in the group, and not be afraid of speaking up. And yeah.
So how do you do that? How do you say to people like, yes, I'm your mentor and I can help you with lots of things, and these are the things that we're doing? Like, is there a training that you do with people or yourself with the New Horizons, or like, I'd like you to expand on that kind of stuff and how
yeah, just on site, really, just self-taught in a way, understanding the other client's abilities, because I don't like using the word disability, because it's pretty discriminative. I've sort of taught myself how to be patient, helpful, listen to questions, answer their questions, speak to other self-advocates like Saru and Reinforce as another example.
So what kind of things do you chat about, like talk about in all those different scenarios that you talked about? Like, what are the areas that you talk in the groups, the things that you find that is most important?
Well, most of the biggest questions in our group is about the NDIS, about public transport, being in the public.
Tell us more about that.
Well, okay. I don't know if you've seen on the news lately about another self-advocate that had a bit of trouble. A rail company called V-Line, they're in a bit of trouble because they've been caught out under the Abilities Discrimination Act.
I guess, sorry, Matt, what I'll do is we'll need to skip that case, because if it's under investigation and questioning, we can't comment about that.
Okay,
so let's go to something else, like
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we about public transport, about accessing accessibility, like accessing public transport. Like, some of the questions are like, is there a ramp for a wheelchair or a mobility scooter? Is there facilities on the train, tram, or bus that is for a person with abilities, and also coping with other people in the public.
That's a big lot to be concerned about if you're going from point A to point B.
Definitely.
Yeah. So because
I know there's a fair bit of discrimination in with the public, and the public picking, not being nice to people with abilities, gesturing and commenting. in a negative way.
So most people that you've come across have that talk to you when you're mentoring them have come to you with these kind of issues.
Yeah, definitely.
So if we go a little bit into those issues, how does it make, so number one, there's a lot of comments that are coming to these people with diversity, yeah, like with with things, and these things that they come across is in their daily routine to get from point A to point B, and then they have to do whatever they went into the public transport for, and then come back home with that.
Yes, that's true.
So the main things that are happening is that people are they bullying them or something? Like,
yeah, they do, and it shouldn't be happening. It doesn't matter who we are, what we are. We're still the same as them.
yeah.
And this sort of negativity needs to really stop, because it's made people with abilities feel unsafe to get public transport.
Wow. Can you tell us one example that you've had to mentor with? Like, so they've been bullied, like, so the person's in their scooter, or walk me through it.
Okay, well, I've said I'll have to say to a person, hey, it's not right. Why are you discriminating that person?
Yeah.
And the person goes, oh, they talk funny, and they're not normal.
Wow. That's awful.
Like I said, it doesn't matter who we are, what we are. We're still a normal person.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know, what in your mind do people who do these bullying, what do you think they're trying to do to our peers?
Make themselves, feel good. Feel good. Racially abuse that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awful. That is just, we need to have, okay, so they do those kind of things. And who do you take it to, Matt? Like, how does it work? Do you take it to
how does it work?
Yeah.
What we do is we bring it up in our AGM meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you come out and there's a part in your AGM where they say, can you talk about some of your issues and things like that? So yeah.
There's a few of those issues have been brought up with other groups as well. Like, for example, Speak Up Alexander, the shepherding group, and also New Wave down the Gippsland as well.
Yeah. So what do you guys come up with? Like, what's your motto, and how do we remedy this situation?
Well, the best way I think to do is, if the person's on the train or on the train or bus, best way to do it without a altercation with the other person. My suggestion is, if you've got a pair of Bluetooth headphones, to wear those and just listen to some music and ignore the person.
That's one way. Are there other ways that your organisation asks you or trains you to deal with?
Well, you can. I guess you can report it. You can report it to the police, or bring it up at your next meeting.
Yeah. It's almost like we've got to do something a bit bigger than the individual, like do something as a community and a
Exactly.
society, like that's not good enough at all. I'm
Exactly.
I'm just so disappointed and so um it does it's just totally wrong and awful.
Yeah, it sure is. And I don't understand why the normal society likes to pick on people with abilities. I think they're jealous or something that we have, but I cannot put my finger on it.
Can I ask you, like, is there a demographic of who does this? Like, is there a certain uh type of community members that do these kind of things, or is it just generally anyone and everyone?
Generally, everyone. Sometimes you get the younger generation, like the younger generation that does it mostly.
Yeah.
Some of that sort of generation still trained, mimicking you and saying you know, bad things to you.
Do you think that there's room and scope for disability training within schools?
Definitely, I reckon there should be because it will teach the students of what what are the difficulties having a ability or abilities and disability.
That
Um,
sounds awesome, Julie. That's a good point. Would
Yeah,
you be able to organize that? Like, I'm listening to this story, I'm just horrified, to be honest.
yeah. Well, in the groups that I've been involved with, because I'm a South African, I work in the sector, Matthew.
mhm.
Um, we've been sort of like advocating for peer-led education amongst primary and high school levels. Um, because it's a bit like, walk a mile in my moccasins, and I suppose if people see others, as like have a story, and maybe we can educate next generations to be more compassionate. And it's actually a violation of our human rights here. So
And
access and so there are like stages of complaints that you can access, Matthew,
yeah,
and like you can escalate it to public transport within those ranks. They would have a complaints area, and the groups I've been sort of trying to work with these different bigger organisations to build awareness around these issues. Generally speaking, Goulet and Matthew,
yeah,
it's a big issue. Access to public transport. It's a big issue in the country regions. So where,
yeah.
yeah, go
In
on.
the country, it's quite severe with access to public transport. Their their times with public transport is pretty. It's outrageous in a way.
Prehistorically is the word I
Yeah,
is the
because
word I come up with. Yeah,
just like today, today a lot of people are going to have a lot of issues today getting public transport, and tomorrow.
yeah. So I'm not
Oh,
sure.
hang on, no, today and Saturday morning, because at the moment there is a 24-hour strike at the moment. There's no buses running on all Ventura, uh, kinetic, uh, kinetic bus routes, and yeah,
Yeah,
and what I think as an idea for educational ideas is maybe one or two self advocates can go visit like a like a special. I'm trying not to use discriminative words special, but the schools for people with abilities. Have a couple of self advocates. Visit the school, have a chat.
Uh, how about we coin the term different abilities?
Yeah, that sounds a positive one.
Yeah, so and I I know what you're saying, Matthew. I have a problem with the word disability also. I think everyone has different abilities and different strengths, different weaknesses. And just because people, think that they're able-bodied,
Yeah, I
you know, yeah,
I think they need to change the name disability to abilities.
or
Yeah,
maybe,
we could also own it, like like we could say things about it as people and own the actual label and use it and empower ourselves with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know the word is complex and it doesn't really sound terrific or
No, it's just
empowering, but we can own it and use it to our needs.
yes, exactly. Because abilities sound a lot better than disability. I think the word disability is a little bit discriminative towards
Yeah.
others. And also, one issue that has been constantly brought up is masks with people with a disability, with abilities.
Yeah.
They seem to be discriminated by the rules of the mask. Like, for example, if we meet up in our groups, you have to wear a mask indoors, but
Yes.
but the public doesn't have to wear a mask indoors. So it's a bit of I don't understand. I don't know what the story is with that, but being fully vaccinated, I suppose it gives you a bit of an opening, but it's rules that keep you down, make you feel down, you feel isolated, and you cannot be yourself.
So am I hearing this correctly? What you're saying is that when you go into a building and people with disabilities, well, I don't even know how people know you've got a disability unless you're in a wheelchair. So people with a disability go into a building and they have to wear masks, whereas the general public don't wear masks. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So, like example, if we go to one of our group gatherings, and they say you got to wear a mask while you're at the group, and I think it's not right, because I see other people that are normal. They can work in the workplace with no mask indoors and be around groups with no masks, and us people with abilities have to wear a mask all the time. And we're fully vaccinated. I don't understand why there's different rules for us and there's different rules for them.
Maybe the organization that you're working with, I'm just trying to problem solve and understand a bit more, Matt. Maybe it's recommendations. Maybe these restrictions are recommendations, and maybe they're not, like, because the laws have changed recently,
yeah.
Yeah.
And they seem to, make up their own rules, like, make up their own rules.
Yeah.
Instead of listening to the rules, what the the Health Commission and, have said. And it's making it hard for other members to come to their group, the group meetings.
Is it possible, Matt, to get a few self-advocates, mentors like yourselves, to raise this issue with the organisation that's talking and doing these kind of things?
Yeah, might be able to, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's unfair how the public's allowed to do whatever they want, and people with abilities, oh no, you got to wear a mask, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, we're like other normal people, so why should we have to have different rules, than compared to a normal person? I know we are high risk to diseases, illnesses, and other complications, but they shouldn't use that group organisers should not use that as an excuse to to make up those rules.
So what you're talking about are double standards, Matthew?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
Double standards, and yeah.
And double standards are quite can be discriminative, because with the double standards, one person, can have no rules, and the other person can have rules.
Yeah, I challenge that word normal also, Matthew, in my work, because um, how do you describe normal? Like, it's like if there's no equipment and people are walking around, and and there are lots of mental health type of issues that now fall under like disability, and there's all sorts of people under the spectrum on different levels. So I challenge that word normal, and yes, so yeah, it's interesting conversations that we have on these shows,
Yeah.
that make people think, and hopefully is picked up in the wider sector and community, because we're all about making changes, like being the voice of change in our life. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's one of our mottos on Your Life, Your Voice.
Yeah. And I just don't understand why we have different rules in different categories. I just don't understand it.
Yeah. Is there anything else we'd like to chat about, or can we go on to the next question?
Yeah, move on to the next question. Go for it.
Yeah. So I know we've spoken about some of your goals that you've achieved, but would you like to expand on some of the goals you've achieved and how you navigated your way around to achieve these goals?
Oh, okay. With the goals, well, I've learned to be more how do you say it? A bit more learn to listen to issues, and help that person out and try and resolve that issue.
You mentioned it might have been
Yeah.
off camera. I'm not sure exactly, but you mentioned that you work, Matthew. So, was that one of your goals that you managed to achieve? I think we're frozen. Sorry. Can you hear me? Goulet, can you hear me?
I can hear you. We've just maybe Matt's dropped out a bit. We might have to come back to him. I think just Matt, are you there? Just let us know. Otherwise, we'll have to get you to come back into Zoom again.
So for a second there, you both seemed like you froze.
Yeah, Matt dropped out.
Okay. So
So what we'll do is while you're looking at that, let me see if we can go. Oh, Matthew's back, I think.
no.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I just had to put my Wi-Fi, my dongle into my
Oh,
the Wi-Fi here is playing up at the moment.
I was wondering why you didn't come up to admit you. So anyway, so we're talking about your employment, Matthew, before we got
Oh,
going.
employment. Okay, yep.
So was that one of your goals that you have managed to achieve? And
Yeah, yeah.
how did that unfold? Can you talk us through it?
Well, how I got the job was through school, through school, and when I graduated, they chose the place where to work after school, after I finished school, and I've been there at Yarraview Nursery for about 12 to 13 years. Yeah.
So I gather this is before the NDIS.
Yeah. Yep.
So I, s- I would say that you've gained lots of skills by your employment.
Quite a fair bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of confidence building and yeah, and income, which is always good.
Yeah, yep, yep.
So yeah, so what other goals have you achieved that you'd like to talk about?
Um, well, make new friends and you know, yeah,
So how do you go about making new friends?
pretty good actually. Yeah, I've got a pretty good reputation of making new friends and
So joining groups.
yeah, yep.
So what other things do you do to make new friends?
Um, you can, catch up with an old school friend, that you've known for a long time. There's all sorts of ways you can. There's all sorts of ways that you can, make new friends. Like at, for example, have your say conferences, AGMs like at Ross House. You get to meet meet other groups and make friends with them, and yeah.
So what about social media? Have you used that to reconnect with people?
Yeah, Facebook, Messenger, and Instagram.
Yeah, that's great.
But the biggest issue with Facebook, it's Facebook's highly discriminative against others. You see a lot of on Facebook. You see a lot of negative, um, a lot of negative subjects on Facebook compared to Instagram. I find Instagram a bit of a more positive social media platform compared to Facebook.
So
Well, there's algorithms. I've heard of that. There's algorithms with Meta now that they try and put in like bad news to keep you on Meta a lot longer, and
Yeah,
that there's algorithms that actually do that. So we've got to be, a bit more empowered and just say, look, we're not going to use that kind of social media things. But what I found interesting is you're saying there was a conference called Have Your Say conference. Where you
yeah.
meet people. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Have You Say conference is a conference that happens, I think, I think once a year or something. I think
Yeah.
it's a group of it's a conference, with a group, like all self advocates. We even get some from, like we get groups from Western Australia, South Australia, Sydney, New South Wales, Queensland, Western Australia, Perth. That sometimes come down to the AGMs. It's mainly a conference where self advocates meet up and talk about the issues, and also socialize, do activities. In the Have You Say conferences, they also have workshops as well,
Yeah.
like training sort of stuff. Yeah.
Does it like go for a day or longer or?
Again, it goes for about 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah. But the biggest issue about the Have You Say conferences, because it's held in Geelong, is paying for accommodation and paying for going to the conference.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of issues with self advocates not able to pay for it. And
Yeah. Well, could I share a screen so people can? I've just looked up Have You Say conference.
Yep.
I'll just share the screen so people can see, so that then they can find
Sure.
out more information. So I've just put it up. Here we go. So it's through Valid. So if you go valid.org.au.
Yep.
So it's Having a Say. So basically, this year's one was in February.
Yep.
And the theme was You're Still My Best Friend. And there's information here how you can get in touch. And what else are they saying? Have you say you book your forms and so it's just how to get to the February conference. So there must be next ones coming up. So if people are interested, they can.
Well, there was meant to be one Have You Say conference, but COVID interfered with it.
Yes.
So they've had to Valid have had to postpone it and temporarily not run the Have You Say conferences until things settle down a bit more.
Yeah, thanks for letting us know. Because it says here you could download information on how to apply for NDIS funding to attend the conference.
Oh, okay, that's a good thing.
So
you want to click that, Colette?
Sure. Let's click it.
That's a positive.
Yeah. So it's a PDF. So can people see?
Yeah.
Yep. If you make it, yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
That right? Yeah.
That's a positive, because at least now if you have trouble paying for the cost of it, you can seek NDIS funding to.
That's right. And there's even there's even a budget, and it's in it. You can find they've even put the code in there, like the
Okay.
self-management capacity building item number. So if you put that item number, then NDS knows how they can you can get your plan to pay for it.
Yeah.
So there's a few things here. So that's on that website as well that we just looked at on Valid.
And that's a positive. Well, that's actually this sort of thing should have happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
When the NDIS funding first came in.
Yeah.
Because it's with the NDIS funding, it has caused a lot of barriers for clients and organisers to go to these sort of conferences, especially the ones that have to travel a long distance.
Yeah.
Like for example, Speak Up Alexander, Shepparton, the Shepparton group, All Abilities in Warrnambool. I think they find it hard, and also New Wave down at Gippsland. That's a couple of examples. I think they have issues going to the conferences.
Well, maybe next year there'll be a whole lot of people who look at this program and can say, okay, this is it, and this is the item number. Tell their support coordinators or their support workers, and so yeah, just look at this site and come back to it, people. Yeah.
And I've also that's a noisy microphone. I've also suggested on my I've advocated for Speak Up Alexander and Shepparton for them to get funding, for Alexander and Shepparton to get funding to buy a van, a vehicle that they can access. While they're, going from group conferences. Because I know Speak Up Alexander has a lot of issues with public transport in their area.
Yeah.
Their public transport's pretty bad. Their public transport's, their bus is every three hours.
So you've got to be ultra organised and ultra quick and
take a packed lunch and dinner.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, that's one of the biggest issues that's been brought up with other groups of transport and getting to the conferences on time.
Yeah, definitely, it's in the public arena now that some of the issues that people on scooters or wheelchairs have experienced is definitely being scrutinised, and rightly so. They've been put into cargo.
In the cargo bays on the unreliable velocity trains. I just think it's disgusting. And I think, to be honest, the diesel oil services can fit those on their trains. It's not like these new ones that V-Line has introduced. And the facilities on those trains are inaccessible.
Yeah, look, I think it's well and truly the public eye now, and it's through the work of community campaigns for that South Africans have undertaken, and I think there's power in groups.
Yes, all abilities warnable did a protest. Did a protest for better accessible public transport.
And when we make things accessible for people with what's the word I tried to coin, of
Abilities.
different abilities,
Yeah.
what the public has to realise, we're making it accessible for everyone. So there are people that are aged, people that are with prams, people with young children. So it's really a pub.
And there's also people that are also vision impaired, deaf, that have stability issues.
Yeah, well, I'm one of those people. I have balance issues. So when the tram takes off, I better make sure I've got something to hang on to because
Yes, and
it's not good. The outcome is not good.
and
So,
this is what the public transport authorities need to open their eyes up a bit about that sort of stuff. They need to open their eyes up and, instead of just caring for the public, caring for the public, and they need to start caring for everyone, not just the wealthy, the rich, and what about us? What we're on NGOs funding, and there's a lot of a lot of hard ways of getting through life, really, to be honest.
so I would encourage Matthew and your groups. There are lots of community-based consultations that happen, and I think it's a good way for people with different abilities to get on these committees and
Yeah,
be the voice, be the voice of change. What happens is that it's quite structured. You make you make you give your ideas of what you think will make a more inclusive train network or public transport network. I'm on one at
yeah.
the moment. I'm on one at the moment that is the next generation train.
Oh, sorry about that.
A bit of that. A bit of that.
We could also say, and shout out or whatever to the politicians who are running for election at the moment. Listen to our program. We've got evidence here. We've got lots of groups who are having difficulties with public transport.
I think that's
beautiful.
I'll tell you something. That song, I think that song just got recorded in our interview.
That's okay. We can roll with a few hiccups every now and again.
It's actually good. It's a good song, that one was.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do you feel just going with that? Do you feel like there is a song out there that really represents what people with different abilities?
There's a song called. It's been played a few. It's been. It was trying to think of the group that you're.
Is it
Urella?
Is it a South African group?
No, it's a normal group. It's a group of abilities, but they did an ad at Box Hill train station.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find something on.
They did an ad with a person with a severe disability, and
Oh, yeah, I know the one. Is it the guy with headphones on?
Yeah, the one that plays
He,
the
he
song.
interacted with the song, and
I
people.
know the song. I've got the song on my iPad.
If you get there to say the song, we'll just Google it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a good song.
I'll just see. There's actually a band. There's actually a band for made up of people with disabilities. They're called the Outsiders.
Oh, the Outsiders. Okay.
So, do you want me to play the song, guys?
Well, we haven't, like, the thing is, if you play more than 3 seconds, we don't even have APRA sheets. Like, they got to get paid, and every time it gets into the public sphere, someone has to let them know to get some money. But maybe we can share the screen.
I'm not too sure how to do that. Let's have a look.
Just
You can, it's actually on my messenger.
oh,
Yeah, it's on my messenger.
It's sung by Radiohead, and it is.
I'll just see if I'll just share screen, and then we can make the decision together. Let's have a look.
I can tell you the name of the song.
yeah.
It's on my playlist. It's called Paranoid.
So I've got it up. Can you see this, Uncle Claire?
Yeah, I can.
So the Outsiders live our lives. So this is the song, and people have been sharing it on Messenger.
Oh wow! Okay.
So
Just pop it on for a few seconds, just a couple of seconds, so people can look this up.
I think I hope it's the right one though. You know how sometimes bands have have similar names.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether it's the right band, but it's called "Live Our Lives" by the Outsiders. So
Frustrating.
I'll just see if I can just Google something else.
Yep, sure.
Live our lives. Live our lives.
Always happy to give a plug to a song.
I'm not sure.
I don't think
okay.
I'm not too sure.
The name of that song is called Paranoid Android by Radiohead.
Okay, Paranoid Android. It's not.
With other people's videos, all you do is say to the person, credit goes to the person that owns this video.
So what's it called again, Matt? Paranoid.
It's called Paranoid Android by
Radiohead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an excellent song. On that ad, that song actually kind of what the heck?
Okay.
Okay, that's funny.
Yes.
So
So do we want to play a few seconds of it?
Just a few seconds.
All right.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
We're just gonna play just about 3 seconds of it so people can get it.
Okay.
This might be ad.
I guess that's it. We've got a few seconds, so that's all we have now. So Julie, if you get off.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, thanks, Julie.
That's all right.
So we've sort of coming towards the end of our program.
Oh wow.
Let's think of some last minute things that we'd like to get in.
Things. Okay, cool.
Is there anything that's in your mind, Matt, that you thought that you'd like to get onto this program for other people to think about? Like, is there a burning issue that you'd like to say? So put it in. Yeah, go for it.
Come join a self-advocacy group. We are happy to have new members.
And also, self-advocacy groups can be found all over Australia. And if you want a list of groups in your area, go to the Self-Advocacy Resource Unit website, Voices Together, and and they will give you a list. You can even start your own self-advocacy group based on your interests, and you can get support to start that group.
Yeah, I've come across talking about joining groups, and one of the biggest issues I've found is in how the groups do a meet and greet, sort of like a open day sort of thing, the public's invited to come and have a look. Our biggest issue is the parents making the decisions for the son or daughter to join. We had a meet and greet once at our group. We had one mother go, no, she's not joining this group with creeps. It's like, what sort of attitude is that?
So there's gatekeepers. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gatekeepers on whether they'll allow their young person in their lives or the person who with diversity attending groups. They sort of gatekeeping.
I don't understand. What I don't understand is why is it so? Why are the parents so negative against it? The son and daughters made their mind up and said, "Hey, I want to join this group," and then you get the parents going, "No, you're not joining that group."
Yeah, well, diversity disability do a lot of work in migrants around forward planning, and we actually it still happens. It's just unfortunate, and that parents or caregivers don't see the benefits of their adult children. Because once you reach 18, you're an adult and you have choice and control over your life.
Yeah, but what I don't understand, why are the parents so negative against their son and daughter joining a self-advocacy group? I don't see any issue with it.
It's fear-based, Matthew. It's fear-based and not letting go and not having a narrow-minded opinion. Yeah. What they don't realise, they're actually causing more issues down the road for their child because the child
and massive barriers for that poor person.
Yeah, the child doesn't learn skills to cope and survive in the world.
And especially if they've put as their goals in their NDIS plan in their NDIS planning in their fund for their funding, the son or daughters put in their plan, I want to join a self-advocacy group. The parent sees that in the plan and they go, oh, no, you're not joining this group, the parents' excuses are, you'll be amongst a whole heap of creeps and, no, we're not creeps.
Yeah, it's very there needs to be lots of work done with these parents.
So there's a lot of dynamics and dilemmas and quite a tricky situation to navigate. Just to let our viewers know, there are ways to get what you want and discuss with your caregivers that this is what you really want to do. So we need to make that space in your life to be able to go out, and whether you go to a self-advocacy group or some other capacity building group where you find friends and take time to work at what studies you want to do or what work you want to do, how you want to participate in society, you know, all those kind of things. But just letting you all know, we're almost over. Our show is almost finished. Any last things, Julie, Matt?
Yeah, just to make people aware, um, uh, there are groups like Valid and other self-advocacy groups who provide independent advice and advocacy for the young adult. So
Like,
I would encourage
like
get
like
involved.
Saru, Valded.
So I'll just put Valid up here, like it's on the share screen at the moment.
Yep. Reinforce.
Do you move down a bit, Colette, because it's not coming up.
And other groups like Speak Up Alexander.
Yeah.
The Shepparton group. I don't know what the name of the Shepparton group
So
is.
just so people know, there's actually a self-advocacy group in Shepparton that's run by one of my colleagues, by peers. So if people want to know a bit more about that group, you can call up Diversity and Disability. Their number will be on the end of this presentation. And there's also, you can call up the Shepparton Council and they will give you details of the self-advocacy groups running in Shepparton. On that note, yeah.
And also to mention as well, there is a group in Warrnambool in the Geelong area called All Abilities in Warrnambool.
Alrighty, time to wrap up.
Okay.
So thank you everyone. Bye.
See ya.
Catch us on Your Life, Your Voice YouTube channel, live every Monday fortnight or on demand.
We would like your comments and suggestions on topics that you would like us to explore. Leave your comments on YouTube comment section.
Please feel free to email us on dndyourlifeyourvoice@gmail.com or contact us via the Migrant Resource Centre Northwest Region Inc. Phone number 1300 676 044. 1300 676 044.
Diversity and Disability is a project of the Migrant Resource Centre Northwest Region Incorporated, and would like to thank the management for funding this project, especially living through the COVID-19 pandemic. The pandemic has been difficult for people with disabilities living in isolation.